Okay.
Yeah, I'm on, it's Janine.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
Janine's on
Amy,
here
why
too.
don't you rock and roll? You're our leader.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Meeting streaming, so.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Meeting call to order at 6 p.m. Item 2, roll call. I'm present. Valerie Garcia.
Here?
Vanessa Navarrete.
Excused.
Jesse Arroyo. Jim Shank.
Here.
Caitlin Commissary.
Here.
Janine Duarte.
Here.
And Brian Savala. All right, item 3, Pledge of Allegiance.
Who's gonna start? I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item number 4, consent agenda. Pursuant to section 246D, matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. Prior to consideration of the consent agenda, the chairperson will ask whether any members of the committee request any item be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion. 1, approval of minutes of CDC regular session minutes of June 27th, 2024.
Yeah, I move we approve the minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion carries. Item number 5, new business. Project A, discussion/update on the Hive.
All right, for those, everybody in this room, I think has gone to the Hive at some point. Maybe not. The Hive is, it's been up for about 3 weeks now. It is the most traffic location in all of the Hives, apparently. It's a huge success. For those who aren't aware, it has 3D printers. It has a telemedicine office, so you can sit and talk to your doctor. It's got a podcast studio. It's got stop motion cameras and green screen technology. It's got robotics, and allows kids to play with the robots as remote control items, or program the robots for specific tasks, and so it can teach them programming. It also has 60 tablets and 10 or 12 all-in-one Apple PCs, and facilitators on site to teach you how to do all of this. During spring break, they had a lot of kids going through their programs. They were not just there using the stuff, they were being taught specific tasks and participating in events and learning about, building 3D models and 3D modeling software, and competing to who could do the best model so they could print that model on the 3D printers. And it was a significant learning experience and a significant success. Do we know how long that grant is for? No? Okay. But irregardless, the equipment is there and served for the time being. We also are adding the next two. There, 2 of the rooms are set up for the Hive. One is their computer room. You can lounge and use computers. One's set up as their robotics area for the kids to use the robots and program the robots. And then a third suite is going to be the Enterprise Center. AG Strut has approved giving us all the equipment we need to set that room up with PCs and with printers and with everything you can. If you're an entrepreneur starting a business, it has everything you need in order to do your business there. It will also be facilitated by by Rebuild Superior at the Enterprise Center to help people access resources for their enterprises. Do we have a timeline on when that's supposed to be put in?
Next week.
Next week. Currently it's operating off shared bandwidth with the town hall. We are running our internet connection up to them through a bunch of jumps. But the fiber connection from WeCom is up there and connected. The hardware is coming in 2 weeks to connect that fiber run to the Hive and to the Enterprise Center. So it should have significantly more bandwidth at that point. We also have made a tentative deal with Zayo to give us we currently will have a gigabit connection. The Zayo has agreed to give us in-kind because they want to expand some of their network, and for that in-kind they'll give us 10 gigabit connections. So we'll have significant speed connection up at that building. Part of the reason that we need to have that high-speed connection to that building is that downstairs is the welding center. And the welding center, if you're not familiar, we started with 4 welders that the town bought using our COVID money, and we built that out. Rebuild provided some money for some blowers and some equipment, and Resolution paid for some of the electrical upgrades that were necessary, and we bootstrapped into that. The students have been, as part of their exercises, building out their own space. So now I think there's 10 bays fully equipped. 12 fully equipped bays. The classes are full with waiting lists. We're on our 3rd semester. We're running 3 classes a semester. My math there says we've graduated about 90 people through that program. So that's a significant success, and it's a model for our future plans.
Todd, I didn't understand. I'm all for more bandwidth, but why do we need more bandwidth for welding?
They have to have their final exams for certification are done by CAC, and they have to visually monitor the students doing their activities. So they need a higher bandwidth connection there, so that the proctors can observe the students completing their exercises. Now we have to ship them down to Coolidge to do their testing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So that will for the Enterprise Center for the next workforce program, we're in discussions about a botany program. There's a lot of interest in the community for that. We also try to tailor all of our programs for a path to employment. So the Arboretum can't hire enough botanists. They're constantly looking for more people. So if we could train people to go out with the basic skills that the Arboretum needs, then it's got a path to employment. Yeah, not just the Arboretum, past a lot of places. So that's a program we're looking at possibly developing. We've also been in discussion on an electrical program, and we've been in discussion on a HVAC program. The problem with most of these programs is you have to find an instructor, which is easier said than done. If the Resolution Copper project really kicks off, and if there are large contractors here for electrical and for HVAC and for things like that, it becomes much more likely that we'll be able to hire a local teacher. But for now, the only teacher we have is welding. And botany, we should be able to find local instructors, and the Arboretum is motivated to help us with that program. And there's lots of funding for this sort of program. So that's my update on the Hive. You want to add anything, Manny?
The mobile hive will be here for the mining festival. So it's an electric vehicle that has all of the same tech that the community would find at the actual hive. This is their first time outside of the valley, but they're bringing 5 or 6 digital navigators. It'll be parked on Main Street during the mining festival on Saturday, so people will be able to play with the virtual reality, the Spheros, robots, all the tech as a preview to get them up to our location. I will say it's not just for children. We've had a number of adults coming with their devices. A whole chunk of people that received free devices when AZ Strut and CPLC did the ThinkPads. The problem with those ThinkPads is that it had Linux and not Windows, and people don't know Linux, so I actually took 2 more devices up. So IDEA is going to learn Linux, so that way when people come in, they can troubleshoot their devices. So we had a woman from Kearney in today and got it up and running. Caitlin took a device from one of our elders the other day that was having trouble updating. So we have like, what's been nice about this partnership is that IDEA will meet the needs of our community where it's at. So it's not just some cookie cutter program. They're listening to how people come in and need support. The telehealth is starting to pick up. We've already had a couple of appointments, and we've also been receiving some information from people asking about mental health appointments, and that is also an option for those private rooms. So we're in the midst of getting acoustic paneling installed, so it's a little more soundproof. What else?
Ringtail cats.
We've caught 2 ringtail cats in the space, but you know.
They were named and relocated to the Arboretum.
Yeah.
The director thinks it's the same one and that it went back, but who knows?
Yeah, it would have been a good little hop. It was 3 or 4 miles where it
They
dropped
have
off
been
from.
seeing it again down at the Arboretum,
Yeah,
so we're hoping that
it stays.
we're done, but we're not sure. I will say that we are coordinating with Parks and Rec soon to get a strategy for summer, because spring break was bananas up there in the best way, but we want to make sure that we are ready for that, and also security in the rest of the building doesn't become a problem.
So I have a question on that. Will you be hiring some of the students, or will they be volunteering
For
the summer?
Yeah, so IDEA, the Institute for Digital Inclusion Acceleration, is our partner with the Hive. So they operate multiple hives. So they actually hire the digital navigators that work at the hives.
Okay.
So we have Angel Preciado here in town, and then their policy is never to have somebody by themselves. So there are always 2 on site. They have a junior navigator program, junior digital navigator program that they're going to be rolling out, and that will be for youth to start learning and like a summer internship
Okay.
opportunity. So that'll be done through IDEA,
Okay.
not necessarily through the enterprise.
And so that I can clearly understand when I explain to students, would I give them the opportunity for volunteer experience, or for actual, they might get a stipend or some pay?
It will be paid, and it will be a good resume builder
Yes.
for them. So, what else? The senior center is having a field trip up there on the 14th. So they're gonna actually take the bus up there and then encourage the seniors that drive to meet them up there. The craft club is going next week. So we're trying to do little micro tours with different segments of the community to try and get the word out a little more.
Can I set that up with you also for my high school students?
Yes, with,
Career development?
you would coordinate that with Arlen.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I think that this is so great in the sense that, you know, when the multi-gen was designed, the idea was that we have seniors, we had kids, everybody would be up there. And we're not there yet, but the Hive is doing that. And I think it's great that it's working. What was it I heard earlier that Angel had been over to the Arboretum Apartments?
Yeah, so because Rebuild Superior is the administrative oversight for the food bank. I really treat everything that we do as wraparound services. So we provided flyers to all of the food bank clients that receive boxes today, and then the ones that go Saturday. So they're gonna get the little micro flyers that have the operating hours and the offerings, and then they're front and back English and Spanish. So our digital navigators are generally bilingual, or they'll at least put one person who's a Spanish speaker. So we're trying to meet that. The other thing I would add is that Moonshot, we met with the CEO this morning. We are hosting a pitch competition on May 22nd, and there will be prize money for entrepreneurs that pitch their event. The meeting we had with the CEO this morning is to have a couple of workshops leading up to it for people to look at the worksheet that they use to make their pitches. But there is going to be some prize money available.
Is it similar to what Arlen did a couple of years ago with the students?
Yes, but this is with Moonshot, not SeedSpot.
All right, any more questions about that? We did have a security incident. A bunch of kids were up there during spring break, and the building's under construction, so there are contractors going in and out, and doors are open. So they just kind of went into the main building and danced on the mayor's desk and my desk and picked up some fire extinguishers, and we're going to set them off in the gym, and broke a couple windows, and just for general little hoodlums. They were talked to, and hopefully that won't happen again. But security is an issue up there. I've authorized the purchase of a bunch of cameras. We've added a security alarm to the hive and everything else. So you have a community building, people from the community are going to come and run through it. So it is what it is. So that's on to my next thing, update on the Multigen Center. So as you remember from our last meeting, which is a while ago, the air conditioners were put in, installed over a year ago. They've been on the building for a year. It required reinforcing the roof and running all new gas lines and doing the gas lines were a change order because the old gas lines that were on the building were not reusable. They had to be replaced completely. So all of that was installed a year ago, and then we waited because delivery timelines on service entrances, which is where the power comes from the pole and into a box that powers the building. In order to replace that one, because the other one was from the 50s and it's too old, it can't be reused, we had to order it, and it takes 56 weeks for a service entry to come. So the air conditioners, heaters sat on the roof for a year, and the service entrance has arrived. It's been installed. The bridging hardware between the new panel and the old panel, so we can keep it powered during the construction phase. What's happening?
I think he's the new representative from Resolution.
Oh, excellent. Come have a seat then. Ruby needs to add that to the agenda. So, for the record, Pete Casillas is new ex officio representative for Resolution COP. It's ex officio. It's based on your position, right? So, as long as we have two representatives from Resolution, we're happy. The electrical is scheduled with APS. That and tentative date for cutover is April 15th, and the air conditioners will be powered. The gym, as I mentioned last time, I think too, when they installed the ducting for the new air conditioners, the contractor made an oopsie and they leaked. So they leaked under the wood floors and warped the bejesus out of them. So the contractor's insurance is paying to fix that. It's a $100,000 repair.
This is the gym floor?
Gym floor, yes. It got wet all along the edges and it warped. It's not the first time it's happened on that floor, you can tell, because there's 2 layers of floor on there.
Yeah,
But in order for it to all look the same, they have to repair all those spots, and then they have to resand the entire floor and restain the entire floor. So the repairs are all done. First they took the wood and they put it in there, and they had to let it sit to stabilize in temperature and humidity to the existing wood floor. And then once that was done, they installed it all, so that's been installed, and now they're going to come back and sand and grind it down so it's all smooth, and then they're going to resurface it. That all should happen over the next few weeks, as should the power up. That'll happen on the 15th. Our first event is scheduled in that building on May 8th. The Arizona Mining Association is holding their reverse vendor conference or something here. They'll have something like 100 people, and they want to do it in our gym. So there's a lot of things that have to happen before that happens, and the bathrooms are all gutted. So what we've done over the last 2 years while we had to wait for the architect to get done is we've preloaded all our demo. So we've knocked all the walls out and all the toilets and everything in the gym spaces. We've cleared out all the roofing. We've gutted all the roofing out of the west building. We got the environmental contractors to grind off all the asbestos and get rid of all the asbestos chalkboards. So all the demo's been preloaded. And now we have to start building it back up. Because as of this week, the 100% design plans on the next 2 phases are complete. It's actually phase 2 and phase 7, which is all the modifications for the 1926 building except for the elevator.
no, except for the elevator.
Elevator's phase 3. But that means an entirely new electrical system, gutting all the electrical in that building and rebuilding it back up. And adding new bathrooms and putting the workout spaces in, and putting the bathrooms back into the gym. And
How are you gonna have 100 people there in May if there's no bathrooms?
Resolution, are the Arizona Mining Association is gonna roll in, those really nice bougie
Yeah.
bathroom trailers, they're gonna roll those in.
Okay.
So, it's a lot to have happen before this event, but everybody really wanted to do it, so we're gonna figure it out.
So, but the town cannot actually move into the building until the elevator's there, is that correct?
Correct, yes, because we have to have ADA accessibility. And the problem with the building, as we've mentioned on a few occasions, is that the 3 main buildings that are right together are all 2 stories tall. But every one of the 3 buildings has the 2 stories on different levels.
Yeah, they're off.
So it's 6 different levels. So one elevator within 20 feet has to hit 6 different levels, which is an incredible design challenge. But it's also meaning that we're going to have to do a bunch of ramping and a bunch of you're going to get on the elevator and you're going to hit floor 1.5 and then floor 1.35 and then floor, and so it's but once we put the elevator in, it's ADA accessible, then we can use the whole thing. The elevator is the largest single component, probably going to cost in the range of $600,000. The other large component is we have to gut and replace the electrical. That's through $400,000 probably there. So those are the 2 big items. We have $2 million from USDA. We've spent about $90,000 of it on the electrical so far. The electrical is actually only scheduled for another $250,000, but that'll put it at about $400,000 total. That leaves $1 million for all the rest of the modifications. And the rest of the modifications will have to, because it has to come up to fire code, we have to replace every door in the main building because they have to be fire rated. We have to put fire baffles in all the attic spaces, so lots of sheetrock being added to the attics. And then we have to go in and cosmetically improve the lower, all the floors, all the offices. I'm not a fan of making huge changes, but we're going to do things like put a parapet wall all around the perimeter so we can run the electrical in that parapet wall and all the IT in the parapet wall and not have to fur out the entire wall. So that's in the plan. Most of the office spaces aren't going to be modified excessively. They're just going to stay like they are. It's got historic value, but it's also just cheaper to do it that way. But the plan is by October of 2026, the town to be in there and operating. That would have the all the gym spaces, the Hive and the Enterprise Center, the admin space for the town, the gym would be up and running. That would leave two components left. It would leave the senior center and it would leave the library. And we just have to hope that after the elevator's done, there's enough money left to do those. If not, I have to go out and fundraise again.
So you think the town is gonna be in the building in a year and a half?
Yes. And the plans, again, were done this week. They're out to SHPO for approval, they're out to Pinal County for approval, they're out to USDA for approval, and who else? Was one other person we had to get approval from. But once all those approvals come in, we can start building it.
That's great.
Construction itself should not go that long. These are all very cosmetic, very straightforward changes. The town is doing a lot of it ourselves, but we have hired a general to do some of the more, the things that require a licensed contractor for, like the plumbing and the electrical. But we will do all of the cosmetic, the finished carpentry, and a lot of the finished spaces.
I have a question. Would you like the youth council to help on that May 8th date? As ushers, guiding people to, like we did for the governor?
Yeah, would love that. I'm sure that the Arizona Mining Association would love that. I do believe you guys have gone down to the mining days on
Yeah,
the Capitol.
and I know the coordinator as well.
Steve is the head of that organization. I don't remember who's organizing it, but we can hook you up with that. Yeah, that would be a very positive one-day event. And
Arlen is coordinating it on the ground.
Okay, I'll contact her as well. About that.
yeah, be another opportunity to wear those nice T-shirts. And the what else? So the modifications, they added, the architect did phase 2, which was all the admin spaces for us to move in and all the workout spaces. But because we're already working on the building, he took phase 7, which is the second floor offices and you know all the finished spaces on the main building, and he added it to it. So we get the whole main building done all at once. It just made more sense to do it that way. Again, once we're done with the elevator, the hope is there's money left. But we wrote a budget to get this money 4 years ago, and there's been some inflation impacts. So we don't know how much all this stuff is going to cost. And like for instance, the elevator, lots of iron and steel in that, and tariffs, and who knows. So, you know, we may have to go out and do more fundraising. We're up to 12 grants for the Multi-Gen Center now, or 13 with the Hive. So, fundraising is just going to be a constant thing on this project.
And we haven't had any issues with the Doge moving on our money for the.
No, Doggy has not gone after this because it's already funded. The money's already in the bank.
Okay.
So USDA Phoenix office has that $2 million in the bank. So we've been affected by a few government retractions, primarily the fire truck. They took away the fire truck this year, and the blight money, the brownfield money to clean up the last of the dilapidated buildings in town was pulled back. So we'll have to find alternate funding for that. But the rest of our grants are already in build phase. So, you know, they'd have to withdraw the contract, and a lot of the contracts don't allow them to withdraw. So, hopefully we're still moving forward.
That's great, Todd.
Any other questions? These are just discussion items, so we can just move on to the next one if you want. Panther Bridge. That one is moving on budget, on time. It's been the smoothest running one of all of our projects so far. The only problem I'm having is with my fundraising on the back end, because we got funded for that 3 years ago at $2.5 million, and then inflation impacts, and now it costs $3.5 million to build the same damn bridge. So we have to go out and bond for that, and the bond is taking a little longer than we want it to. But we have mechanisms in place. I've already gotten the money lined up for that, so we should be on track to carry temporary money until the bond clears. That should be done. It started in late February or early March. It's supposed to be 3 months long, depending on good weather, and we've only had one rainstorm that delayed them 1 day during the entire time. So hopefully they'll be done well before the end of the fiscal year, and about the end of the school year it'll open again.
Does the bond go on a ballot?
What was that?
Does the bond?
It's not that kind of bond.
Oh, it's not that kind.
It's not a general obligation bond. It's just using our sales tax money.
Oh, okay. That's great.
All right. Any other questions?
Not on those items. I know it's not on the
Alright, so hearing,
Can you?
go ahead, Jim, sorry.
Yeah, can you say anything about, I know that you've been running around, you know, trying to do everything to keep the sewage plant running. Can you just comment on, is there light at the end of the tunnel?
It's not an agenda item, but it's and it's too complex to give you that. It'll get done. We're 6 months from complete on it. Should have been done today, but we've got another 6 month delay.
Okay, no, that's 6 months, we should have it fixed.
Yeah, primarily the core problem is that because of administrative, engineering, lots of reasons that it got delayed, the plant has been running on a temporary circuit for 2 years. The temporary circuit was only designed to run 6 months. So everything attached to it's rotting and falling apart. So the longer we delay, the more change orders to fix the problems that are created by the delay.
And the cost goes up.
Yeah. It started at $2.5 million when we got it funded in 2018, and the current budget's around $5 million.
Okay, thank you.
Any other
Okay, if
questions?
there's no more questions, we'll move on to item 6, summary of current events, committee members.
Well, I'll go ahead and start. We were busy all of this past month with going to Washington DC, and we'd like to thank everyone who contributed to making that possible. I still have a lot of work to do and get stuff posted as well, along with the thank you letters and we have an agenda, items to address in regards to getting all of that out there to our supporters. At the school, the FBLA students are going to compete next week. So we have 4 students competing in that as well. And then our month of April is always state testing. So we've been nonstop and busy for the last, all of that stuff. And then, end of the year stuff. So looking forward to graduation. Caitlin has 27 days left, so it's exciting. So yeah. Other than that, we have graduation. It looks like we have the key ceremony from the city as well, but the 8th grade promotion is on May 21st, and then we have graduation on May 23rd. I think that's it.
I mean, there's nothing for me other than since I've been going to the Hive a lot recently. When I actually walked in, when I first walked in, it was actually it felt nice to see all the modern, all the modern furniture and the technology. It was pretty exciting to see. So I mean, it's like somewhere where I can go and hang out, like whenever like I need that social interaction.
It's really good to hear. I mean, they talked about that, you know, they worked real hard to design it to make it a welcoming type place. It's nice to hear that you feel that way.
Not just for ringtails.
Yeah. I don't have anything except, well, we got the mining festival this weekend. Our AmeriCorps kids are gonna come back to volunteer for it, so they'll be here Saturday and part of Sunday.
I don't have much on the resolution side other than we'll be having a booth at the mining festival. We'll just be there on Saturday. We won't be there Friday or Sunday.
Oh, okay, just Saturday.
Just Saturday.
Perfect.
So the current events, there's a car show on the 11th and another car show on the 12th. So the big car show's the 11th and the smaller local car show's the 12th. So feel free to come out to that. We are going to be launching a lot of summer recreation programs. There's a aquatic yoga class. There's rock painting. They're doing they're relaunching the Easter egg hunt. And so there's lots of stuff on Facebook about that. So I think it's been 10 years since we had the Easter egg hunt.
Oh, wow.
Our recreation program is starting to get up and running, and please do keep an eye out for future programs and encourage your family to participate.
Where's the Easter egg hunt?
US 60 Park, as far as I know.
All right, anything else? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to item 7, scheduling of next meeting, CDC meeting, April 24th, 2025. Any comments on that? We'll move on to item 8, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned at 6:37 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.